What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney completely exposes newly crowned undefeated unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr. 20 wins, no loss and no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 69-inch arm reach. With that said, Devin Haney is 27 wins, no loss and no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. Devin Haney completely exposes the fact that George Kambosos Jr. has now received the offer that he was looking for. Okay, Devin Haney, father, trainer, manager, and CEO Bill Haney of DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, have now all agreed to accept everything George Kambosos Jr. was looking for. So the fact that George Kambosos Jr.'s promoter, manager, Lou DiBella, stated that they were having an impossible mission of satisfying Devin Haney for his demands. Well, now Devin Haney has agreed to whatever they wanted. Okay, Devin Haney has agreed to George Kambosos Jr. Purse that he wanted. So the purse split that he wanted, Devin Haney has now agreed to it, okay? The location for the fight to take place in Australia, Devin Haney has now agreed to that, okay? Devin Haney has agreed to everything, and yet George Kambosos Jr. is still mulling over the fact that he's trying to determine whether he wants to fight Devin Haney or whether he wants to face two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasyl High-Tech Lomachenko. 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout. Lomachenko is 33 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach. With that said, Vasyl Lomachenko is on the front lines in the Ukraine, dealing with the unfortunate chain of events between Ukraine, his country, and Russia, okay? So he's unavailable. Vasyl Lomachenko has stated that he doesn't know when he's going to resume his boxing career, just like other fighters that are from the Ukraine, such as Olympic gold medalist, undefeated, two-division world champion Alexander Usyk, who was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua in an immediate rematch, defending his unified titles that he won from Anthony Joshua in September. He stated he don't know when he's going to fight because he's dealing with the soil that's under his feet, okay? So does Lomachenko. So George Kambosos Jr. stated that he wants to fight June 4th, okay? We are in the middle of March going into April, which means in April, we'll have 2 months till the fight. Devin Haney has now revealed that he's had the contract, that Devin Haney has agreed to everything George Kambosos has wanted, all his demands. Devin Haney has agreed to all George Kambosos Jr. demands. George Kambosos Jr., he stated that he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to be considered undisputed. He knew that Devin Haney was the fight that should be made after he wins the titles from Teofimo Lopez, after he stated that Teofimo Lopez was acting like a diva when he had the belts. Okay, and when he beat Teofimo Lopez, he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to be considered undisputed, and that's the fight that should be made, and that Teofimo Lopez should have been fighting Devin Haney. He stated that it wasn't about money, it was about legacy and entertaining the fans and giving the fans the biggest fights. And the only demand he wanted and stipulation he wanted was to have his fight take place in the Down Under in Australia, back at home, seeing as though he's come overseas and competed and earned his keep to go back home and defend the titles, which I agree. Well, now Devin Haney is on board with everything you look for. You wanted the biggest purse of your career, and now he's giving you that purse. What you asked for, he's giving it to you, okay? You want the fight to take place in Australia, he's giving you that, okay? You want the fight to take place on your demands, right? On your accord, and Devin Haney's giving you that. And now this George Kambosos Jr. is still mulling over. He wants to fight Lomachenko, who is not a champion. Lomachenko is dealing with this unfortunate chain of events currently as it stands. He's not going to be available, okay? Lomachenko is not going to suddenly come back before this month is over and then enter training camp to prepare himself to fight in June, okay? Now you have to understand Lomachenko's mindset is completely somewhere else. his mindset is not on fighting or boxing. Okay, his mindset is completely on survival mode and dealing with real life issues. So now you got to factor in Lomachenko coming back. We're in the middle of March, almost the end of March. Okay, so we're heading into April. So you say to fight June 4th, he would need 2 months. That's 8 weeks, right? Or April and May. June 4th is the first week in June. Okay, so that means he will have just April and May to get himself back in the swing of things and acclimated to focusing on the sport of boxing. So that means he will have to start preparing himself right now to prepare for that fight and to travel to Australia, which means Vasyl Lomachenko will more than likely head to Australia at least a week or two before the actual fight. So that means he will head to Australia at the end of May. So you even shorten his training time to get acclimated to go to travel overseas, okay? He's not going to be available. So George Kambosos Jr. should take what should be a situation where it's automatic, right? It should be a no-brainer to face off against Devin Haney and consider yourself undisputed, okay? Now, he would be the 8th undisputed champion because Jamel Charlo, 2-time junior middleweight world champion, unified junior middleweight, and undefeated WBO junior middleweight, Brian Castano, going to fight May 14th. So the winner of that fight is going to be the 7th undisputed champion to hold all 4 major sanction belt and Ring Magazine belt in the history of the sport of boxing behind Canelo Alvarez. So that fight will be before June. So the winner of George Kambosos Devin Haney would take place in June, which means they will be the 8th champion in the history. So you have an opportunity to become top 10 in the history of the sport of boxing to hold all 4 major sanction belts and the ring linealship. And you're dragging your feet to wait for a guy who's clearly not interested in the sport of boxing right now. But you did all of this talking about how Teofimo Lopez was simply being a diva, and it was unfortunate that Teofimo Lopez was in this position and that the boxing world and Devin Haney wouldn't have to worry about that once he beat Teofimo Lopez. So you fulfilled beating Teofimo Lopez, and now you're fulfilling being worse than the actions that Teofimo Lopez had displayed. Because now you have the contract, and now you're dragging your feet. You have everything you wanted. You wanted to go to Australia, and Devin Haney's going to do it. You want to fight. You want to get the highest payday of your career, which the numbers that you were looking for, now they have obliged you. You want the fight to take place when you want it and where you want it. They have obliged you. And yet you're unwilling to sign the contract to get the fight done and promote the fight. You fought. George Kambosos Jr. has fought November 27th. Okay? 4 months ago. We should have you December, January, February, March. 4 months ago, he's fought. We should be going into promoting this fight and heading into an undisputed showdown. And then he focuses on fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, who's going nowhere. See, the difference is Vasyl Lomachenko, George Kambosos is trying to wait Devin Haney out because they know Devin Haney has a limited amount of fights at 135 before he has to move up to 140. Because he's already expressed that he's outgrowing the division. I wish he never said that. Because here's the thing. They're making it abundantly clear that they know that Devin Haney is struggling to make this weight, right? And so now he's in position where, he's in position where now they're trying to wait him out. Lomachenko has already expressed he has no interest in going above 135 to 140. He's actually he feels like he's too small for 135. He just wants to accomplish becoming undisputed at 135. So Lomachenko is going to be there. So that means you get past Devin Haney June 4th, then that means you would be in position to fight Lomachenko in the fall. So then you don't have to worry about, you could get both the fights still. You beat Devin Haney, you're now undisputed, you defend your undisputed titles against Lomachenko, who already agreed. So nothing would have changed with George Kambosos Jr., okay? Nothing would have changed with George Kambosos Jr. as far as him not losing his position or losing his leverage in Lomachenko's negotiations, because you beat Devin Haney, you're officially undisputed at lightweight, which means Vasyl Lomachenko will still agree to come to Australia and sign a 2-fight deal to fight you in Australia should he win, and fight you in a rematch immediately in Australia. So you lose no leverage, you actually gain leverage in negotiations as far as purse goes. But George Kambosos Jr. has displayed that he's completely unconfident that he could beat Devin Haney, period. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.